I was 5. I had just gotten home from half-day kindergarten, had lunch. I remember there was a car that pulled up, and 2 guys got out. And they said, "Hey, I need to talk to your mom." Next thing you know, Stacy comes running out of the house. "Your daddy's dead, your daddy's dead."
I remember when I got to the phone and they said, your brother's been fatally shot. And I remember thinking, so is he dead? Because the fatal, it didn't register for a minute.
Nothing can prepare you for that. I remember thinking, like, how is that possible? That my dad's not coming home. You can't understand the finality of it at 5.
When somebody's gunned down in cold blood, someone that you love, that's beyond being able to describe the amount of pain that you go through.
I don't believe Stacy ever thought Lindbergh was dangerous. And I do believe that Jim and Stacy both thought that they could handle whatever came their way.
It wasn't until after James Lindbergh's death that people realized just how obsessed with Stacy he was.
He decorated his motel room with photographs of Stacy Arthur. There was a calendar where he had circled all her photos and had a lot of that hanging around the room. We had found in the motel also that he had recorded many conversations and had many cassettes of these conversations in his possession.
He had 31 tapes of all of these conversations that he had with Stacy Arthur. And they started to get a better picture of, sort of the insane, intense jealousy that he has against James Arthur.
One of those tapes was transcripted, and it reads, "This message is for Stacy Arthur. I want her to know that I'm in love with her." And that's not a good thing because she happened to be married this time. Kind of goofs me up totally, and it hurts, and I'm in love with you. Just know, there you are, and here I am, and they're your husband. Lindbergh quit his job in October of '91, almost immediately after Stacy had left him the message about taking a break. His neighbors basically reported that he was acting a little bit unhinged and getting a little bit less predictable. It seems to me that he would, in his own logic, would think he'd have to kill James Arthur before he could get to Stacy.
Like the catapult into madness. A crazy fan goes and kills your friend's husband. Your sister playmate were like sisters. It's like a sisterhood. It was very scary. If someone's capable of murder, they could murder you.
The family and friends of James Allen Arthur. Deep inside of us, there is a feeling of loss and bewilderment. Death has come unexpected and under tragic circumstances.
Everything was taken from me that day. My dad physically was taken from me, but my brother was never the same. My sister was never the same. Stacy was never the same.
Stacy was just devastated, as we all were. Stacy lost the love of her life. She lost her confidant, her lover, her supporter, her everything.
She was 23 when my dad died. I can't imagine having 3 children at 23 and dealing with the trauma that she was dealing with all of this. Like, I can't even begin to wrap my mind around it.
You think certain things are such a big deal, and in the scheme of things, especially, you know, your husband or your family, that is what counts. That, you know, the other things don't count. And she learned that the hard way.
So, you know, after Jim's death, it's just this downward spiral. She says that she was sexually assaulted by 3 bodyguards at the mansion. Those bodyguards say that it was consensual. She sees Playboy as negligent and as using women for promoting their business, but not taking care of their safety, and obviously the safety of her family around her.
But she was asking for a substantial amount of money, and I remember that there was nothing to stand on. There was no real clear, you know, evidence.
But she eventually stops going forward with that case, and it's dismissed without prejudice, but she never refiles. This is really the beginning of the end between Stacy and Playboy.
Playboy handles tragedies by burying them and not acknowledging them. Playboy cut Stacy Arthur off, and it was as if she had never existed. When I look at Stacy and how she was positioned, to me, as somebody who worked for Playboy, I see that as she was a definite front runner for Playmate of the Year. And it's shocking that she didn't get it. And that's the only reason I can think of, is they were trying to distance themselves and not bring any more attention to the tragedy.
She had received all this attention because of this horrible tragedy. She had essentially given everything to Playboy, and then they spurned her.
All the dreams aren't necessarily what's really important. All that glitters isn't gold.